Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Cake Crew is back after our hiatus. Me and Blake are here because the Avs did lots of shit today.
Lots of fun stuff today.
Yeah.
Lots of fun stuff, man. Where do we even start?
Also stuff that made me sad, that made Eddie sad.
I guess do you want to start at you want to start at 11 p.m. last night, March 5th, the day of our Lord, United States, Denver, Colorado, 11 p.m. I'm laying in bed, okay? I send out a tweet. All right? I can read that. I can read said tweet. Now, I did get the team wrong, but I did get the time right. So
you did get the time right?
Yep, here we go. Manifesting. I'm sitting in my German history class tomorrow morning. I open my phone to a LeBron tweet, hearing the Avalanche are trading Ryan Johansson to the Sharks. More details to come.
Was it LeBron?
What a great day. Whoever it was. Yeah. Everybody had it, right? Yep. I got up. I got up to go to the bathroom, right? Because it's a 2-hour lecture. You gotta go. Yeah. Had to go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Nature calls. And boom, there it was.
It's perfect.
It was Rajo and a first for Walker and a fifth.
Yeah, I was like, the sequence of events was interesting because it was Walker, and I was like, if they were making a move for a defenseman, it was not the first move I thought they would make. I thought, Walker would be like the defenseman would be the deadline day deal,
right.
All right, we got the assets. Yeah. Let's go get a good defenseman.
Exactly. Well, and I did too. But when you look back at it, it was very smart because that price for Walker, people were saying it was going to be a first regardless, and they got a really good price if you think about it. Sending Rajo back and they get a fifth.
Yeah.
That is one of the best trades I think they've made.
Wait, hold on. We got to go back even further for this because you manifested a trade that happened a few weeks ago for a long time. Curtis McDermott for a seventh.
I sure did. Every cap friendly thing I made in my history, I would dump him off for either with a seventh or for a seventh, just depending on the mood.
Yeah.
Of that day. And happened.
Yeah, if you scored the day before, then you get the seventh. And it's kind of funny because McDermott and you think of your teams that you dump cap to. It's like San Jose, Chicago. Mm-hmm. I did not think they were gonna parlay Rajo into a deal with Philadelphia. I didn't I don't know. That just never popped into my mind. So that was some creative thinking.
What I think about there is Philadelphia, they really wanted a first for Walker. And I think the Avs might have backed them into a corner a little bit. Just being like, we'll give it to you, but you have to take Rajo.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they thought this is going to be the only chance we can get to get a first back.
Yeah.
Because they want as many firsts as they can get before Michkov comes over. So that's the only thing I can think of. And maybe they thought they weren't going to get that good of an offer in 2 days. And I think they would have.
They could have. I think they could have found a desperate team. Also, this is a 2025 first.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Less value, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I thought it was for sure going to be 2024. And that does leave the possibility of them doing something now or in the offseason. They could still make a draft day deal with that.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking. They have way more flexibility at the draft now.
Yeah.
To see what they want to do. If, say, for example, Georgiev doesn't play well in the playoffs and they feel like they need to go get Markstrom or Saros, whoever. Yeah.
I'd get Saros.
You can use that.
I don't trust Markstrom. I still don't trust him.
I know he's so hot and cold, right? So, yeah.
No, it gives them good flexibility. I think it's just a good deal. The interesting thing with Walker is whether or not they re-sign him. He's only 29. I mean, you just got to see how he plays, really. They also didn't get retention on. They didn't get retention on either deal, right?
And they didn't need it because now they have about $5 million.
Yeah, I mean they shipped $8 million out,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both of those guys are on pretty cheap deals. They're both on about $2.5 mil. So
you got $5 million. Here's what I would do.
Do we want to wait and talk about Mittelstadt and then?
We can wait. So let me finish this Walker stuff. So
yeah,
Sean Walker puts up like really, really good results in a second pair role, right?
Yeah.
If you want, I don't know if you could pull up his player card. I can send it to you right now. So he puts up elite results on both ends. He's not great on the power play. He's really, really good on the PK though. So, yeah, just sent him to you.
Okay.
So Sean Walker, yeah.
What's this whole thing about him taking face-offs? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'm not in the loop on that one. But yeah, so it's really good, and he's gonna fit exactly what the Avs want to do. He is second in the NHL behind Cale Makar in rush chances by a defenseman, which is awesome. Now he does turn the puck over a little bit when he jumps into the rush, but that could just be Philadelphia, not the most skilled team out there. Right. So, and
he's also tied for first in rush goals with Owen Byram.
Right. So then here's the thing. His contract looks like it's going to be either 4 or 5 years at 4.5. So it's
Josh Manson. Yeah.
It's the Josh Manson contract, right? Now, who would you rather have just based on, fit and chart? Obviously, we haven't seen Walker, but I feel like this summer, if you can get Walker on the Manson deal and trade Josh Manson for draft picks or whatever you need, I feel like that may be a better fit. Now, I love Josh Manson, but I feel like if you have Sean Walker, you can find a cheaper third pairing guy who puts up similar results to Manson to play with Malinsky next year, right?
Yeah, like that's a, it truly does depend on how, if Walker has, you get into a tough conversation because if Walker has that kind of playoff play that we saw Josh Manson have, it's a little bit different for him because it's like, it's just like kind of when we got Josh Manson, it was kind of like, okay, well, this is a guy who's going to, you want to unleash some potential here. And like we saw, like he's a different player playing in the Avs system, but like Sean Walker's kind of already has that kind of like
he already does that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you feel a lot more comfortable with his fit there. I mean, like just look at like this is just good. This is just
I mean, he drives the crap out of play. The -8 defensively. Now that doesn't necessarily mean he's a great defender. He's an okay defender.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sam Girard, where it's like he's okay at it, right? It's not hurting you. It's not elite or anything, but the reason his defensive numbers are so good is because when he's on the ice, the Flyers have the puck a lot. So, and then he's elite on the PK. I mean, elite. So he also has 2 shorthanded goals this year. So
2 shorty. Oh my God, really?
Yep.
I haven't scored a shorty in a long time. That's kind of crazy. Have they scored a single shorty since LOC at the beginning of the year?
The Avs went crazy with them at the start of the year. I think they did. I
think they did too.
Who it was.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I feel like it was in like the Washington or LA game, somewhere around there. But anyway, I mean, this is just I think it's going to be a perfect fit, and he's 29.
It does feel. It just feels a lot like the Josh Manson deal, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, it does, and
it's a different player.
Instead of trying to get a different look on your defense, you're trying to replace Bo and Byram with a guy who, is going to do some of those similar things, but at a way higher level than Byram, to be honest.
At the moment,
Byram, I know you're going to miss him. I'll let you get into it. I think he's going to be really good someday. But as of right now, Sean Walker
Sean Walker's the better
is the
player.
much better player. Yeah.
Okay, well, it says there's 7 shorthanded goals this year, and I don't believe that.
Yeah, 7's about right.
I just can't think of the other ones, because there's those 3 Logan O'Connor ones from the start of the year.
Wood has to have a couple.
Wood had one against New Jersey. That's right.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be a better way for me to.
I feel like Cogs has 1 or 2.
Yeah, I feel like he's been on the edge of like a on like a 2-on-1 or something. And he just gets the puck. Let me see.
But I mean, okay, so say you go into next year and your defense is Taves McCarr, Gerard Walker, and then you have Malinsky on the right side of your third pair, and you put him with, I don't know, if you want to go spend assets on a guy, you can. If you want to just re-sign Jack Johnson and do that, you can.
Yeah. I think you might want to get, if you're going to miss out on Josh Manson, you do like being gritty and everything is overplay, but you do want to have one guy in your defense a little bit.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. So I'm not totally set on moving Josh Manson. We have to see how this plays out. But the fact is, I mean, Manson's been great this year, but even at his best, he is not even the results he puts up aren't close to Sean Walker. Right?
Yeah, Josh Manson's a shorthanded goal. What? Oh, it must have been on an empty netter or something.
Yeah. I didn't Josh Manson jump up into the play against LA or
it's you're right with LA. That was that Cale Makar one, before the well, it wasn't LA, it was Washington.
Yeah. But yeah, so my heart's not set on it.
Short-handed against the Sharks.
Maybe that's interesting.
Okay, let me see this.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, no, it was an empty netter. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that's just kind of the Walker conversation is I just feel like he's gonna fit like a glove. But then he's gonna get paid and you can only afford one of him or Manson, depending on how that goes.
Probably, yeah.
So.
We'll just move this to the Mittelstadt conversation because Mittelstadt is an RFA, which is kind of the big proponent with him. It's just like Sean Walker's J Fresh card,
He takes some penalties. That's
yeah, but so did Bowen Byram. So
yeah, so I mean, here
you're not getting worse there.
I'm gonna send you Mittelstats.
And that is something that the goals and the assists are a little bit are good, but what sticks out to me is the competition and the teammates. He's playing with not good players. Whereas
he's playing with Nick Seeler. He's played with Nick Seeler all year, and Nick Seeler's not any great. He's not any great shakes, right?
Right.
He's a third pair and bruiser who blocks a ton of shots, and he'd have been good for the Avs, but yeah,
Yeah, if you could have gotten both of those dudes, you would have been cool, that's your guy to bump JJ out of the.
Yep. So, yeah. So Sean Walker, he's gonna be awesome. I'm excited to see him. Fortunately, won't be able to see him in person until next week.
You think next week?
I'm flying to St. Louis. On
this
Friday.
Weekend. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I bet you Friday he's playing. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's really all I have on Walker. I'm just interested. I'm interested to see how it goes this offseason because I think he's going to fit really well.
Yeah, I feel like it. It truly. It's I think the playoffs are the big, determining edge for him because that is the one question mark with him is because he's played 2 playoff games before. I guess Mittelstadt hasn't played in the playoffs either, so it's
both, right?
Yeah, neither of them have overwhelming playoff experience, But
yeah.
it's not you want it, you like it, but when you have there's still 9 dudes on this team who've won the Stanley Cup. Zach Parise is been around. trying to think of who else. Ross Colton's won a cup.
Yep.
Miles Wood
2, right?
Oh yeah, right. He won 2.
Yeah.
Miles Wood's, I mean, the Devils
He's played playoff games before.
Yeah,
right?
he plays a playoff style game. Like I doubt you watch Miles Wood play in the playoffs and you're going to be like, wow, this guy's a completely different player. But
yeah. So if you want to get into the Bleau and Byram stuff,
yeah, I mean, I was talking with a guy last night, and it's just kind of like once, and this has been something that's been apparent to a lot of people for a while. Once the Avs signed Devon Toews to the extension that they did, Bleau and Byram's fit on the team became much less apparent. A lot of people were like, before they were like, okay, maybe you trade Toews and you let Bleau and Byram take the reins, but then they kind of extended Toews before they even gave Bleau a chance to do that. So it was kind of like they just didn't really like. And you're a cup contending team. You don't just want to be like, okay, 23-year-old Bleau and Byram, who I think at that point had barely played 100 games in the NHL. Have fun, You're our future, no pressure. But it's, and he didn't have a great season. He hasn't had a great season. I don't think it's a true indictment of him as a player. He's still young. He's still pretty fresh in the NHL, and
absolutely
defense is like the heart. That's defense
young
and
defenseman, man.
Yeah,
young defenseman.
I feel like
they're a wild ride sometimes.
We've been spoiled with Sam Girard and Cale Makar.
Yeah,
but I think
Girard, right?
Yeah,
he went through. I mean, he was awesome in 2021, the COVID shortened season.
Right.
And then after that, I mean, the next 2 years, he was like aggressively average.
Yeah, right.
We were wow, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's like that $5 million was kind of like
good.
Ooh. But then he found his way. But I have all the faith in Bleau and Byram as a player. I think Buffalo is like, it's like this mixed bag where it's like, okay, there's Dahlin and Power, but it's also like, I don't know. I feel like he's played on his offside this year, and I think people have been like, well, maybe that's part of his struggles. I don't really think that's part of his struggles. I think part of it is just like he hasn't moved his feet at times. He's also played with Jack Johnson and Ryan Johansson constantly, and you're not like and Joel Kiviranta for a little bit, and it's like, dude, you just don't. He just can't do you ain't getting help. But this isn't as much of the New Hook thing where it's like, okay, I don't feel like the Avs gave him a chance. He had chances and he played really well. He played well in the playoffs. He had 12 goals last year in 42 games. He's got. I think he's going to be a good player in the NHL, and I'm disappointed to see him gone. My only worry for an actual worry with having him gone about something the team will miss is the kind of energy he brings. He's a very silly, goofy guy, and they don't have a lot of that. Gabe kind of brought some of that, but he's not really with them. Mikko does bring some of that, but he hasn't. I don't know. I don't feel like he's done that as much lately.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I'll say about Bo is just, I mean, he was one of the most complicated players I think I've ever seen, because he showed so many flashes. I mean, even on a shift to shift basis, he would go 5 shifts where it's quiet. And then the 6th shift, he would step out on the ice and, dazzle a guy at the blue line. And, but then you would see plays die where he would make a nice move, and then, he would follow it up with maybe not the best play. So it was even just on a shift to shift basis. He was just, you could see he was trying to figure it out, and he was having trouble. Yeah. And I think, the analytics obviously don't look good, but what would give me hope if I'm a Buffalo fan is the only times where Bo was actively bad on the ice was actually with Jack Johnson and Ryan Johansson. Those results are actively awful, and Freddie Olofsson, but come on. With everybody else on the Avs, when he played with good players, the results didn't get any better or any worse. So the
Yeah,
good
he's just
players have the
there.
same
Like,
results with him or without him, right? That gives me hope, right? Because when he's there with those guys, he can play. He's not elevating them, but he's not taking anything away either.
yeah.
So that gives me hope if you're Buffalo, right?
Yeah, no, I
That's why I
think,
think he's going to be good because
and
he can play with those guys. So
yeah, he can play with talent, and I think one of the things that's really encouraging for him is that on a team with Cale Makar, Devon Toews, and Sam Girard, I mean, obviously, no one's come close to Cale Makar, but like when Bowen Byram is at the top of his game, he's better than Devon Toews or Sam Girard at the top of their game. He could dominate a game. He's a true
he could.
There's a reason he went fourth overall. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, you see, and like if you're a Sabres fan, you're encouraged because this isn't like some guy, who's like, I mean, he hasn't really realized his potential, but he has in a way. Like, it's not like it's like
There's a
it's not,
ceiling there.
yeah, it's not like you're pointing to like junior play and being like, well, he
No.
did this in juniors. Like he's done it in the NHL. He just has to
Mhm.
string it together with consistency, which is like, half like of the NHL has to do that. If all the NHL players were consistent, then But I think it sucks to see him go. There's a lot of good memories. I truly think like at this moment, it sucks to see the dude go, but I don't think there was much of a place for him on the Avs blue line once they signed Taves anyways. And I think that the only place that I'm truly concerned about where he could, is if one Walker just isn't made for playoff hockey, because Bo always showed up in the playoffs, and the vibes thing, because that is something that like I don't know, like good, like I think that the team is goofy and like I don't think they're all like they're business like, but they're not like,
but
they don't take
fun.
themselves too seriously. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think something. I don't know if you've ever seen his Instagram, and his comments on other people's posts and stuff. Casey Mittelstadt.
Oh, Casey Mittelstadt. Okay.
Yeah, I should have specified that before, but I don't know if you've ever seen his Instagram and his comments and everything. But it's pretty hilarious stuff. So I'd check that out if I were you. I can actually send you this tweet.
I think I gotta follow.
It was absolutely hilarious.
I don't know if Sean Walker has.
So, news from Freach. Vegas has entered the
Noah Hannafin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, Martinez is hurt or something. I'm not sure.
He is. Yes. So, here, I'll send you this thread right now.
He's on private. Come on, Casey. What the fuck?
There you go. Twitter DMs. So,
Twitter DMs. Good Lord.
Yeah, we can get into Mittelstadt now if you want.
I have so many Casey.
I mean, we've gotten through the Walker. We've gotten through Walker and Byram, so kind of who Walker's replacing. On the back end, and so Casey Mittelstadt. I will say, I mean, general stuff on the player is he's a second line. I mean, he's a good second line center. It's not like it's not some amazingly high end second line center. He's a very good second line center.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like Kadri from 2022.
Yeah,
it's
just not. You're not going to find that unless you have Leon Draisaitl.
Exactly. Or like Crosby and Malkin.
Yeah. Well, even Malkin's pretty not good.
He's produced at about Mittelstadt's level this year.
Yeah.
So
while being horrendous defensively.
Yeah. But here's Mittelstadt. So he's an okay skater. It's average. It's league average. But that's not really going to be an issue for me. Because he plays so well. Remember Ryan O'Reilly when he was an Av?
Well, Ryan O'Reilly.
Even Paul Stastny. Neither of them fleet of foot. But remember how they could play with McKinnon and they could play
Yeah,
with
there's plenty of dudes who can play with speed. Like Tyler Toffoli
Yep.
is a guy that always gets thrown around.
Yes, exactly. He's an awful. I mean, Tyler Toffoli is an awful skater. He's
Like
one of the
Tyler
worst
Toffoli
skaters
is
in the NHL.
like Rigel level bad.
Yeah, but he can play at that level because he processes the game so fast, and that's what Mittelstadt's gotten better at. Now you'll see his defensive numbers. He's really figured it out in that end as he's grown as a player.
Yeah.
And the play driving has usually stayed at around 50, which to me means he needs to be playing with good players, which he will here. So that's not really a problem. Now, he's a pure playmaker. He's got 14 goals, and he shoots about 9%. So that tells you, okay, doesn't have the best shot. He knows he doesn't have the best shot. Doesn't use it very often.
I mean, he's surrounded with plenty of goal scorers that it's just kind of like, yeah,
it's going to be fine. Yeah. And I mean, this guy's going to play with Valnichushkin, man. It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So yeah, he plays fast, even though he's not the fastest. And I feel like that play driving is going to only get better here because Buffalo, they don't, even though they have a ton of skill up front, right? And even on the back end with Dahlin and Power, they don't play a very fast brand of hockey. It's pretty what's the right word I'm looking for? Methodical. The way they play the game. There's a lot of room for creativity, but it's just not fast.
They play kind of like scared to get burned, kind of like a little bit in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, they try to pick you apart.
Yeah.
East to west more than north south. So that's something I think he's going to have to adjust to, and I think he's going to be great at it because just the way he processes the game it's just at a very high level. So
yeah,
he's going to be great.
And one thing I was concerned about was that he had you look at his numbers and it's like at the start of his career, and he had a little bit of that Tyson Jost. He came in too early.
Oh yeah,
it just wasn't very good. But then he figured it out last year. We don't
out that you have to get to the middle of the ice.
Yeah. Yeah, and his passing numbers really took off last year also. And I think that's where he's going to thrive is, there's with any real 2C that the Avs got, there's about a million combinations that you could do. So you put him with Val, you put him with Lecky. Those are two guys that can score goals. He gets it to the middle of the net. Or you could put Mikko with him and then,
have someone feeding Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
Passes right to the tape for free goals.
Yeah, exactly. If he remembers to shoot the puck. There's lots of combinations you could do with him, and the big thing that I kind of already mentioned that you can see he's 24. He's an RFA.
25 now.
Oh, 25. Okay. Well,
just
that's still
25.
Whatever.
It doesn't
that's
matter.
Still young. Yeah. But he's still an RFA, so the Avs will have control of him for multiple years, allegedly, unless for some reason he just crashes and burns here, in which case the Avs may never have a 2C again.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, I know that's not going to happen. But
I would be shocked if it happened. I agree that I have no expectation for it to happen, but you never know.
The deal you're looking at for him is probably in the 5 to 6 year range at $6 to $7 million this summer, somewhere in that range.
Right.
He's really good, and he's going to get paid like he's really good. But I think this is the perfect guy because he's not so good where you have to pay him $9-10 million. But he has the potential to become that good after you pay him this summer.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why
steps forward.
Yeah. So that's why you're bullish on this. So another
I don't know
random
if it's team mail model either. I don't know.
Oh no, dude. That's what I was going to get into. Another random thing about Casey Mittelstadt that not a lot of people know about is that he is a complete rat. He's a rat. He's very sneakily dirty.
Oh, so he's he's literally like JT Compher, but good.
It's different than JT Compher because, JT Compher was always in those scrums. It's not Nazem Kadri. It's a little closer to that, I would say, because Mittelstadt, he does it during play. It's not after the whistle.
He'll skate by you, slash you in the back.
It's within the whistles. It's more so he does dirty shit sometimes. And remember Ryan Johansson, how he was on the Predators? We didn't see it a ton with him here. Where
didn't see a lot of anything with him here.
Where he'd hit you in the corner, and it wasn't maybe the most clean hit, and there's no penalty for it because you can't really call a penalty. But he does stuff like that, and if you just look at his picture, he also looks like a rat too. So
he does, yeah.
I think Avs fans are gonna love the guy because he plays with an edge. That's something not a lot of people know about him. So
yeah. Do we think he's gonna wear 37? Yeah. So Sean Walker wore 26 in LA and Philadelphia. The only person who wears it now is Andre Pavel for the Avs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I know Sean Walker wore 26 in LA. So
yeah, I think that would ease in the blow of Bleau being traded as another 26 on the Avs.
Yeah, I think probably 26 is what you're looking at. I don't know what Mittelstadt will wear. I'm probably 37, right?
Probably 37,
open, so. Yeah.
Yeah. I would guess, I don't know. I wonder if we see Pavel, maybe if Pavel has a different number tonight, or I don't know if that would be. I don't know if he comes out wearing 26, if that's any indication, or I don't know if he doesn't wear 26, then he's probably Walker's. But
yeah,
I always just like to guess players, numbers.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So I mean,
fun.
There's one thing we just didn't really touch on, but when the Avs did trade Johansson to Philly, he immediately got waived.
Yes. Rijo, I don't know if I really want to touch on it too much because I just don't have a whole lot of positives to say other than that he seemed like a great dude. So
yeah, no, he was
the best.
It sucks when those guys come and they're like a solid. They seem just like the nicest dude, but they just can't. It's kind of like Curtis McDermott. Yeah. They're just like.
Curtis was a little different because you could see the effort there every night. With Rijo, yeah. He didn't really give a shit. Quite often. I mean, if I'm being honest,
yeah,
I don't feel a whole lot about it because I watched him not give a shit for 4 months. So
yeah, I felt kind of bad because as the days went on, I was just getting you got to trade this guy. You got to trade this guy.
Right.
And I felt a little bit bad about it, but then they did. I just I do think it's funny that they traded him back to Tortorella's team.
So
yeah, right.
$8 million. So yeah, good.
Yeah,
have fun with that, man.
I think we can talk about what we want the Avs to do next now.
Yeah, for sure.
You wanted to get into that because they do have $5 million space. Now, I'm just saying it might not be maybe, if one of these feel extra healthy, maybe just clear $2 million more and then just bring him back.
Yeah, so
I know that won't happen, but
yeah, I mean that probably won't happen. I think there are just things you need to do here. There's 3 things that I think are pretty obvious that you want taken care of, but it might not take all $5 million. So foresee 6th defenseman to play with Sean Walker and a backup. Now,
yeah,
I don't know about backup because Annunen has been great.
I think Annunen's been good. I agree. My only thing is that the past 2 Stanley Cup winners have had to play their backup or further.
Yeah. So I think shit happens. It might be nice to have a guy, but I mean, at the end of the day, Georgiev's your guy. If he blows it, you figure it out this summer because you can't do anything about that right now.
Yeah.
And if Annunen has to play playoff games because Georgiev's terrible, then so be it, right? Then you're probably not winning anyway with Capo Kakinen, right? So, I still would probably go look at that position. I still probably would try to go get a guy.
Yeah, I think Allen is a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, with the $5 million now, you're not taking on the full.
Mm-hmm. I'm out on Jake Allen. I think Annunen should be a part of the. I think Annunen should be part of it next year.
My thing, that is the one thing with Allen is that you do. I mean, you could probably flip him this summer if you really wanted to,
Yeah.
I think the thing that appeals me to Allen is that he has playoff experience and he can like be a little bit more of a vet. Where I feel like Capo Kakinen and like Kevin Lankinen,
Yeah.
don't have that like
Right.
at all. Like so they don't really have that
Yeah.
stabilizing veteran presence. Like
I mean, Kevin Lankinen is really well liked by goalie people around the NHL.
yeah, like I think as like a backup goaltender, like I wouldn't be upset with it, but I feel like like I feel like it. I don't know. I personally think that like I don't know how much Georgiev really needs that guy behind him to be like, hey, you're doing fine. I just think he needs rest. I just think that's all he needs. Is
I
like,
agree with that. Yeah.
I think like Kevin Lankinen or Capo Kakinen is fine, but if the organization really thinks that he needs that, like then Allen is the guy, and obviously I don't know,
Sure.
like
Flip him in the summer or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Kakinen or Lankinen is a good one. Maybe you could like I know they really like Barabanov.
Yeah, I think that's a summer thing.
Yeah,
They've called about Barabanov for the
every year.
last 2 years, every year. I mean, he's an Av, right? He's going to sign for $1.5 million in free agency, and we're all just going to be like, yeah, yep, we knew
And
that.
I know some people have like with Capo Kakinen, there's the possibility of bringing Nico Sturm back.
I would not be very happy if they did that because that's $2 million.
Yeah, they would have to retain,
and it's for an extra year too.
Yeah.
So no, thank you. But yeah, so what I would do is sixth defenseman. Now it's interesting because I spent a ton of time looking at right-handed defensemen because I was trying to look for a partner for Byram, and I settled on Colin Miller, and I was,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is the guy, Colin Miller. Yeah, hell yeah. And, shared that information with you all and stuff. But now I don't really know. I mean, it's going to have to be a Cogliano for a fifth type deal, right? But it's going to have to be for a guy who's good analytically. So, I mean,
yeah.
The brainstorm begins, right? So,
yeah, do you get a lefty? I mean, Sean Walker's played both, but he is a righty.
I think you should keep Sean Walker on the right, if you can. And I mean, there's always Joel Edmondson, but he's really not very good.
Joel Edmondson, please.
Yeah, I know. There's just not a whole lot out there. And I mean, it's got to be a guy who's analytically a good defenseman as well. Like you don't want to just trade for Jack Johnson again because you already have Jack Johnson, and that's what Joel Edmondson would be. So I would just be careful. Alex Goligoski's a lefty from Minnesota, but I would not do that.
Yeah, maybe Alex Carrier.
He's a righty.
Oh, right.
And I don't think they want to move him. Chad Ruhwedel wouldn't be bad, but he's a righty as well. Chad Ruhwedel is kind of awesome, but yeah, he's a righty.
And then the only other guy like Brian. I don't want Brian Dumoulin really that much.
Yeah, nobody wants Brian Dumoulin, man.
Matt Roy is like
he's a righty as well, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and he's a guy that I was going to say go after this summer, but the Avs got Sean Walker, so maybe you don't do that now.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, just looking around here, I've already gone through a few cap friendly pages, and I really don't see a whole lot here from the left side. I mean, let's see what's Calgary got, right? They're selling.
Kind of crazy. Casey Mittelstadt wasn't even on most of these like trade bait lists.
I know, right? Calgary, there's really nothing in Calgary. Let's go to St. Louis. Marco Scandella is a UFA. I don't know how that guy's analytics look. I guess I could look it up right now.
Yeah. Like the only guy that, and like if you're just throwing handedness out the window, the only guy that looks really interesting to me is Alexander Carrier. I feel like the rest is just kind of like doesn't move me a whole lot, but.
Well, I mean, Alex Carrier is a very similar player to Sean Walker. Like he's a top 4 guy. So,
Oh.
And I think they're going to extend him. So it's just tough market. I am going to look at Marco Scandella though from the Blues.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
He's big and hits people, so I just don't know
does
how.
Do that.
I just don't know how his numbers look. So I will take a look at that really quick.
Yeah. So
I should have come prepared.
while you're doing that, we can touch on 4C.
Nope. He's terrible.
Nope. Okay. We could touch on 4C here. There's some options. I mean, I don't really know. I know people have liked Chris Wagner. I haven't liked him that much. I haven't liked him enough to be like, I want this guy as my playoff 4C.
Exactly.
Like, he's a fine regular season fourth line center.
Yeah, I would not be happy if game 1 they're rolling out Chris Wagner at 4C. I don't think that would be acceptable at all.
Yeah. No, I think I think Nick Dowd is the interesting one, but I think he's way too expensive. If they
everybody on Arizona's defense is expiring, which is interesting.
Yeah,
but that's funny. No lefties, so.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they would actually trade. So.
Well, and like the only one is Dumba, and he's a righty. So.
Right. So and Stetcher's a righty too, and I like Troy Stetcher, but
Troy Stetcher's
righty.
Yeah. I think Troy Stetcher's been a guy that's kind of been like soft, kind of like Avs fans are always kind of like Troy Stetcher would be cool.
Yeah, he's a very smart player, but he's just not what you're looking for. Jacob Bryson from Buffalo, he's small and soft, so I'm not even going to bother. I mean, Anaheim and Chicago are really your last two here, and they really don't have anything that moves me. Urovac and Ninen, they're looking to move on from him. That guy's bad though. Yeah, there's really just not a lot from the right side, like at all, or from the left side. I mean, like at all. So it's tough. I mean, you could go get a guy who's signed, but I don't know why you would want to do that for your bottom pair.
Right.
I feel like Caleb Jones, just play the guy, right?
Yeah, Loki.
That'd be your best option. But clearly they don't want to do that. So maybe they don't get a sixth defenseman. So
yeah, I did like Travis Dermott is a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like a few dudes that I'm kind of like I'm just looking at this right now. Like I mean Calvin DeHaan, you can maybe if you can.
Calvin DeHaan is not bad if the Lightning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's actually a great call. I would be totally on board with Calvin DeHaan. I don't know how his numbers look. I would imagine they don't look great because he's had to play in their top four quite a bit this year.
Right.
Because Tampa is bad. But I'd be fine if they called Tampa for Calvin DeHaan. I mean, his numbers actually look amazing. So.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah, his offense is +2, his defense is -7, his PK is -4. So
nice,
man. Yeah, I'd call. That's a great call. I'd call Tampa Bay and I'd be all over that guy. That's the guy.
See if you can try and.
Yep, we found him. So that's great call.
Did I do that? No, that seems right. Okay. No, I'm just want to look at centers really quick here.
4C, you're looking at Nick Dowd. That's just like the obvious guy, and you're looking.
I like Jake Evans.
26 second.
Jake
Evans would be great.
Probably my favorite.
Jake Evans would be great. Can Jake Evans win faceoffs? Jake Evans.
Let's see.
You wanna? I'm gonna pull up his cap friendly too. So I think Jake Evans would be awesome here. Yes, he can. He's at 51.
Yeah, so he kind of can.
I mean, that's better than anything they've got, right?
That's true. So, yeah, he's not like you're not going out there and being like, we're winning this face-off. But
no, and they don't need that. They just need a guy who can win half of them on the PK, so they don't start every single freaking PK, having to scramble to play defense, right?
Right.
You want to start some PKs with a clear. That's been a big problem. So let's go to Montreal here. Now, I don't really care about what his numbers look like unless they're disastrous, because Montreal is one of those teams that they just
Yeah, they
don't
just look
play with.
bad.
Yeah, they don't play with any kind of structure.
I mean,
So Evans is a little smaller. As long as he's got like decent PK numbers. Okay, his PK numbers are not good, but his 5v5 numbers look totally fine. +0 offense, -2 defense. His PK is a little bit of a disaster. Yeah, he's fast. He's got a little bit of offensive touch. The other guy I was looking at was Drew O'Connor.
Drew O'Connor, yeah, he can't win faceoffs.
He's at 48%, so it's not like a disaster by any means, but he's kind of similar to Jake Evans, more of like a smaller, speedy guy.
Right.
But for me personally, like I feel like Nick Dowd would just be perfect because he's got the extra year, right? So you're not really worried about 4C next year. And he's just really fucking good defensively. Even if he's not, the most fleet of foot or anything like that, he's just really, really good defensively. So
apparently, Friedman just mentioned the Avs as a potential for Gensel.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
That'd be. I mean, with the $5 million, they could fit him, but that'd be all they could do. I guess.
Right. I don't know about that. I feel like you got to move a little bit more money out if you do that.
I feel like it's just like you're doing good, but like I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit too. You're doing a little bit too much there.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like you're not focusing on the actual holes of your roster at that point.
Yeah,
I think, but Jake Evans is interesting. I mean, Nick Bukestad would be cool, but I think he's way too expensive for a 4C.
I mean, if they can get Nick Bukestad at half retained for that 2026 second and like Ben Myers or something like that, like wouldn't you?
That would, you know what? I mean, like to be completely honest, that'd be really good. I mean, like
because I feel like Bukestad's better than Dowd.
Oh, Bukestad's not even a 4C is the thing. Is that like
no? He's like a really good third line center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's options for sure, right?
Yeah, just like the thing is just like I don't know. I just haven't heard. Bukestad would be cool. We've wanted him. He's been a guy who's been connected to the Avs before, but last year then Edmonton snatched him.
Right, and little thing about Bukestad is he's the reason LA went and got Pierre-Luc Dubois, because they felt that Deneau wasn't good enough at second line center, because Bukestad shut down. Bukestad, I mean, essentially zeroed their second line out, and all they had was Kopitar and Kempe against McDavid and Draisaitl, and that didn't go well for the Kings, as you can imagine, because the second line was completely zeroed out.
Yeah, exactly.
By Bukestad. So
it's kind of crazy.
Interesting.
He's only making $900K this year.
Bukestad?
Yeah.
And next year, I think next year too, right?
No, he's an expiring UFA. He just signed a 1 year.
Bukestad is?
Yeah,
an extra year. That's very interesting. Well, I mean,
Nick Bukestad.
I mean, let's see. Where are you? Oh no, Nick Bukestad's at 2.1 for this year and next year.
Oh, why does it say 1 point? Am I reading wrong? Maybe that's it. Maybe these charts. No, it says UFA at 9K. Why is this cap hit at 9K? 900K.
I think last year is what that was at.
Maybe.
It's 2.1 on cap friendly for this year.
Next year. I'm looking at cap friendly too, which is like so it's like I've like used the player thing and I filtered. I've used like the player. I don't know, but yeah, no. And then I click on them and it says 2.1. I mean, still, if you can just get retention on this, still fine. Like, I mean, right. You keep that dude for Nico Sturm 2 years as your 4C. Nick Bukestad 2 years as your 4C. Yes.
Yeah. Because then next year, like, you don't even have to get bottom six forwards next year. Like, you're just set. You're locked. You're locked and loaded for another year after this, right? If you get Bukestad. So,
right.
I mean, him or Dowd would be preferable. Jake Evans, Drew O'Connor, awesome. So there's a lot of options here, right? Zemgus is another one that the Avs have really been looking at. I would not be the happiest if they got him to do it. He wouldn't be bad or anything. He's fast. He runs into things.
Yeah.
That's about all he can do. Yeah, definitely interesting. The Gensel stuff.
He does not win. He historically doesn't win faceoffs. He's above 50% for the first time in his career this year.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're, 48% or something, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I've talked myself into wanting only Nick Bjugstad.
Kevin Weeks says interesting three-way trade would be Gensel to the Canucks, DeBrusk to the Penguins, and Lindholm to the Bruins. And then I would assume the Penguins get a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
From the Bruins and maybe even the Canucks. So.
Oh, well, because I think DeBrusk is.
I think Boston has to have money out if they need money, if they get money in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is his last year. Okay, never mind.
I will be right back. Give me 1 second.
Okay. So yeah, there's lots of options the Avs could do at 4C. There's I think there's some solid options. I think that's like the thing that that kind of matters most to me. Because like as bad as we say Jack Johnson is and we watch him be bad, he doesn't actively harm the Avs a whole lot. Kind of. I mean, we've seen him in a playoff run. He was okay. Like, I like personally, I'll ask Blake when he gets back, but personally, my priority list is probably 4C, 6D, 2G. That's my personal preference. I just think that like fourth line center, you see all these great teams have such quality fourth lines, and they have the quality for a great fourth line winger. You have Parise and Kovalenko, Parise and Wood, Cogliano and Wood, O'Connor, Wood. But you have all these dudes you can put on your fourth line as your wingers. But you need a center similar to the second line. You have all these great wingers for your second line, but you need a guy to center that. You need a guy to put that shit up. And I think that's like, I don't know. I feel like just like having that fourth line center and like truly making your fourth line, like then you have all four lines just.
I agree. 4C.
So
for sure.
You think that's the most important if you do 4C?
Mm-hmm. Also, live on air just now. Frege broke. It's Hannafin to Vegas.
Oh, it is.
So that fucking blows.
That kind of sucks.
Especially if the Avs play them in the first round, that would be awful.
Seriously, this is just like.
I mean,
at what point do they get I don't know, man? Like this just every year, Vegas seems to do this.
Hey, all you can do is
the Avs posted
make your team the best.
Video. I hate this.
All you can do is make your team the best it can possibly be, right? So Vegas is doing that. The Avs have to do that as well. So that just makes it a little bit more like I would absolutely go try to get Calvin DeHaan or something, to play with to play with Sean Walker, and I would absolutely try to go get Nick Bjugstad.
So what do you think? Calvin DeHaan, Nick Bjugstad.
It's the arms race.
Kevin Lankinen
or Capo Kakinen. I would get a cheap guy. I wouldn't get Jake Allen.
Yeah.
I don't want the extra year. But yeah, Friedman live on air on TNT broke Hannafin to Vegas. We don't know the price yet.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's reason to be scared of Vegas, but also at the same time, like you can be as good as you want. They've lost 7 of their last 10. What? They're bad. They've been bad lately. And if you're I don't know, man. It's hard to be that bad, and
mm-hmm.
When you have stretches that are that bad, that's showing something.
Right. No, I mean the problem with them is Pietrangelo, Hannafin, Theodore, McNabb, White Cloud, Haig, Martinez.
Dude, 2-7-1 in their last.
It's
10.
ridiculous.
That's so bad.
That's ridiculous. Hannafin,
that is good.
Ugh.
How good have they been this year?
That team. I do not want to play that team.
Yeah, they got every time I see Anthony Mantha, I want to be scared of him, but then I realize he's soft as shit.
He's pretty soft, but he's really good.
He's good, yeah.
He's going to help their forward core a lot. They're really deep. I think the Avs are better. They just have to. They just have to play the games, I guess. Now, I think maybe the Avs shouldn't win the Central and just play Dallas or Winnipeg first round. We'll see. Things end up working out in the end, right?
So. Oh yeah, because they could play Vegas. I don't know. Who would you rather play, Vegas, Dallas, or Winnipeg?
Not Vegas. After they get Hannafin and Mantha, and they're definitely not done. So
I don't know.
For all
I feel like
they could use another wing. I think they may go add another winger. So
I feel like Vegas might. For me, it's Winnipeg is the team I want to play the least, and then Dallas or Vegas. I don't know.
I mean, ideally, the Avs just like win out and then win the West, and then they get like Nashville, like a freebie.
Repeat.
Yeah, I think Nashville's a little better. Nashville probably, I don't know, they play more with a more structured style, and they have Saros this time, but I still think that's probably like 5 games.
This has been crazy for a day, 2 days before the deadline.
This is crazy. I mean, this Hannafin thing is really tough for the Avs. So
yeah,
it's tough for the Oilers too.
But they may never.
They might have to play.
They may never see him.
May never. But,
do they play Vegas?
Yes, they do. They play in Vegas, I think, one more time.
I was gonna say that seems right.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's been interesting. The Avs are really good. The Avs are the best team in the West. If they can just fill out some min-max the shit out of the roster and just like
yeah, and they got 2 days. They got nice thing is now they have 2 days to do it. They have I mean, there's no way that I mean, they have $5 million and they have like enough assets. There's no way they're just going to be like,
man, does this Hannafin thing make you want to go get Jake Gensel a little bit?
I mean, I'm not like opposed to the idea of Jake Gensel, but I'm like, if you've
got bullets in the chamber, man. You got this year's first. You got Cal Ritchie,
dude, that would be disgusting. That would be fair. Dude, imagine a line of Jake Gensel, Casey Mittelstadt, and Mikko Ranson.
Dude, just imagine Gensel next to McKinnon, man. Gensel, McKinnon, Landeskog. Are you shitting me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude. And then you get Landeskog, dude. Well, that's the other thing we keep neglecting to mention, that you still have Kovalenko and Landeskog,
and then Artur Ilekinen and Jonathan Drouin are in your third line.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
With Ross Colton, that's fucked, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and then your fourth line is what? Parise. Who else do you have on your team? Kovalenko could play maybe center. Who knows?
Bugstad.
Yeah,
Bugstad. Oh, dude, Bugstad, Parise, and Wood.
I mean, come on.
Good luck.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. It'll be interesting next couple of days.
Chris McFarland has given us, faith that he can. That he knows what he's doing now.
We'll see. I wonder what the return is for
Hannafin. Yeah,
Hannafin. I would imagine it's a first and Brendan Brisson is what I would imagine. So, Gensel is down to the Avs, the Canes, and the Rangers.
Oh, so that one thing that fucking Week said just gone.
Yes. Let's see. Nope, no price yet. No price yet. Wow. That's a bomb.
Yeah. That's a rich bomb.
It's a legit top pairing defenseman that I think they need, because Theodore's been hurt all year. And
the other thing that's nice is that, the Avs, at least, also, what the hell is Edmonton doing? Why the fuck did they get Adam Henrique?
that one made me smile a little bit, because
they just spent a first on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Carrick is one of the bottom 15 players in the NHL. Like, And then Adam Henrique is a quality third line player. If he plays in your top six, you probably don't love that.
Like where do they even like? I don't know. I just feel like that's not where they need to be improving.
I know. Well, they did need another forward, so credit to them for getting Henrique. They needed a guy that's like slot in their middle six, but they really need a defenseman because Cody Cece's fucking buns, and he drags down Darnell Nurse. That pair's awful. They roll at about 46%, while Ekholm Bouchard roll at about 60%.
Yeah, it kind of evens out.
I guess, but they really need an upgrade on Cece.
Yeah, the West has kind of turned into what the East was last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the East ran out of assets after last year.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we'll see. We got 2 more days. I'm sure we'll see you guys at some point again soon.
Yes, we will. Oh, I'm sure of it.
Well, there is a game tonight.
Thanks, everyone. There's a game tonight. I don't know
how
I'm going to sit through this game. Jean-Luc Foudy's
Foudy
playing, man. That's all I care about. Let's go watch Jean-Luc Foudy.
Let's go watch Jean-Luc Foudy go burp.
Bye, everyone. See what happens.